So welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live stream with live peoples, and on this sunny day in the UK. I think it's the 6th of March today, Monday. So Ustream may have Monday morning blues like it normally has. It's doing something strange, so I'm not sure if it's recording or not. So welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live stream with live peoples, recorded for Ustream.tv and also for YouTube, but for people to watch at their leisure. And welcome all the YouTubers who are watching this unlive, non-live. And thank you for subscribing, and all my subscribers. And if you have any comments or requests, please tick the like box and subscribe and tell me what you would like to see more of or what you'd like to see less of. So I thought today I'd talk a little bit about getting organised with colour books and supplies, because it can get a little bit overwhelming, especially if you're streaming as well and making YouTube videos. So I want to be a little bit more organised and a little bit more structured, and although I don't work, I thought it would be a good idea to get just that little bit more organised. So my idea, probably about a year ago I think, I found, as we do watching the filofax videos, this gorgeous, I'll pan out actually because I've zoomed in. Oh, Karen says that she's been watching somebody else getting organised as well. Let me pan out a little bit. Well, I decided I needed to be a little bit more organised. So this is my wallet, or what I keep I have a coin purse, but this is what I keep my notes in, and as you see I don't actually have any. Might actually have some notes to go in there. But I might actually go back to this because I end up having now 3 purses. So what I'll do is put my credit cards in here, and then I have I put receipts in here, so it has some gorgeous pockets. But if you've got pulley hands, this particular one is gorgeous. Now I had to wait a long time because they're about £80 in the UK, and I could not justify that. And very luckily I found one extremely cheap on eBay, so I was extremely lucky, but I absolutely love it. It has a pocket here, and it has a hidden zip pocket, so if you didn't have a lot of change, if you were a gentleman, you could put that into there. Now I've attached this fishing loop, and it's very much like it. They're very different. I probably couldn't get that off now, but it's just easier to have something there. It has a pen loop, and it's elasticated. Now it would actually get this pen in, but I think this pen might be a little bit, it's a fine liner, this one. It might be a bit long. I do have a favourite pen that I sit in there, and it's also a pen I can draw with, or I used to be able to draw with, shall I say. And that was the Uniball. I think it's a 7C740 or something. It's a very, very nice pen. But I don't have one with me at the moment because I don't normally write things down. I normally use a mechanical pencil. In my bag I have, I've just bought this rotary pencil because it has a rubber section, and I like that one. So that one's going in here. It's a bit of a squeeze. The other one that doesn't have the rubber on actually fits in better, but that's going to be my little pencil because it's easier to write in pencil. Not sure about getting it in and out actually. Maybe I have to go back to this one. Yeah, I might have to go back to my old rotary pen. But a rotary pen is quite good because you never have to sharpen it. Actually, I tell a lie. This is the Pentel. I may not be able to get this one. It might be a very old one. Somewhere along the line I'd picked up this Faber-Castell, and I've lost the top, but I thought that would actually be quite nice to use. Not sure if that, it would go in eventually, but I think with these elastic ones you've got to kind of get them going a little bit, and I don't like to force things, but a normal size pen will just go in there quite nicely. But I can't write in pencil today because you won't be able to see what I'm writing. So it has 2 pockets in here. It has some gorgeous, and it's very soft, so if you've got poorly hands you can actually kind of get into these pockets. So it has tons and tons of space for popping things in, which I love. And then you have the big double-sided edge wallet, and it still smells gorgeous. So that gets tucked into there out of the way. So I've bought this PVZ zip pocket, and if you buy them from WH Smith's they're a few pounds cheaper. Now you only get one, but again it's handy to put my trim pass in, so that could go in the bottom there, and it does fit. It's just my hands don't work very well. So I did have this really good, and I bought it for my husband, and it's a very good strong magnet, but I'm going to leave that one. I have some little tiny ones somewhere. So I made that dashboard so that when I was writing on that side I didn't have all the bubbles and the cards. It was flat, so, and I don't really like that, but it works, so we've left it. And then I had some of these really nice little, there should be about 6, but maybe I've lost some. I think this one might be broken. No, this one isn't broken, so I've actually got 2 of these, so I could put one at the front. I like the zips at the top, I don't know why, but I just like the zips at the top. So I've got one at the front and one at the back. I've got my little dashboardy thing that I rounded the edges on. It's got rather battered, but it does the job. It means when you're writing on that side, your pages are flat. There's some little, I've brought out these little stickies, which I thought I might use. So they, and some little tiny stickers, but I never use them, so I thought, right, I've got to start using these. And I think I kept these in here. And again, I kind of made these, punched my own holes in and made them, so they're not perfect. And I think that one will go in there. And that one will go in there. If I took that at the back, they're out of the way, then we have that to give a little bit of stability on the back. And then what I've bought at the Abbey, we have these little prayer cards. So I bought one for my daughter. This is Recipe for a Happy Home. This is today. I love this one. It says, mend a quarrel, search out a long forgotten friend, replace a suspicion with trust, write a loving letter, share something to treasure, answer gently, encourage the young, be loyal in word and deed. Keep a promise, find time, forgive one another, listen, apologise if you're wrong, try to understand, think first of others, don't be too demanding, appreciate, be kind, be gentle, laugh a little more, be a true friend, deserve trust, fight evil, don't be self-satisfied, express your thanks, give joy to a child, worship your God, take pleasure in beauty and the wonder of the world, and speak your love again and again. And I think if you did that every day, the world would be a better place. So I have that one in there. And that one's the Lord's Prayer, so I have that one. And I use these to go in between things, and I just like that one. Combine happy hearts, melt them into one. I like that, so that goes in one of the other little cards. I'm going to shut this. So I found some more of these little, I think these are, I've forgotten the proper word, the original ones, the really expensive ones, but I found them in a little shop. So again, I'm going to pop those in there, and they'll come in handy because I'm going to change the way I do things, purely because I need to make things easier and get less things in. So I'm just going to pop that one in there. Um, so it's quite thin at the moment, but I want to get in quite a lot of things. This does not have, it was on a little tiny diary, but I thought it would be quite good, so I can punch holes in there and it will sit quite nicely. I can throw this away. It's not very often I throw things away, but I will throw that away. So I'm quite pleased with that. And then all I have is I do bullet journaling. So in there will be, and there is a video of how I make the inserts. And I've got about 6 of these. These are a lot lighter, so again that can just kind of go in there. And it will keep that in its place until I'm ready to use it. So I know that that's probably the correct day. And there's quite a good loop on it, so you can actually get that quite chunky. But I've got a couple of videos. One is how I make the inserts, and one how I use it for bullet journaling. And so that means I have a pencil that never needs sharpening, and it has a lot of lead in it, so you don't really, normally in the top here is where you keep all the spare leads. So it's very rare that you actually need anything else. If you want to do a bit of a sketch, or if you want to do just scribble, that is brilliant, especially for bullet journaling, because sometimes I change my mind, so I actually quite like having that. Just going to have to make sure that I can get that into there, but I'm sure once it's in, it's going to sit quite nicely. It'll go in there a little bit more, but I just want to play with that a bit more. But if I hurt my hands today, I won't be able to do anything for the rest of the day. So I can scribble and write every little thing if I'm stuck somewhere in the hospital. And I really like bullet journaling because it's a very simple way and you don't waste paper. And as a tight Yorkshire lass, I love that. So that's going to be in my handbag, carried with me everywhere I go. And apologies, my daughter's gone to college and she didn't do my hands today, so apologies I haven't got my fingernails quite as nice as they should be. So that's going to be in my little purse, in my handbag, carried around with me everywhere. It will have my notes, money in it, and it will have my credit cards and my cash card. And so it will always be with me. It's a bit like the phone, it's always with me. And yet, if I have an idea, I can get it down there, because I'm normally terrible for remembering things. So I can have a mini diary in a bullet journal, very similar to the one I'm going to show you, exactly the same. And the beauty of these little tiny squares is you get exactly the right amount. So if you open it up, you've got a full month, and then now you have the next page of tasks for that month. And then I have about 3 pages at the front for the index. So bullet journal is very, very good because you never waste a scrap of paper. And I like that because I love diaries, but sometimes I don't write things for 3 or 4 days and you feel so guilty that you haven't written in it. So there's no pressure with bullet journaling. Some days I write lots of things, some days I don't touch it for weeks. So I love bullet journaling. And I use bullet journaling in this particular one. Now this is probably going to go, this goes in my kind of a shopping bag, the bag that I carry upstairs. My husband carries upstairs for me, that and it's by my feet when I go in the car anywhere. So it has extra things like the walking stick, a bottle of water, big things that will not go in my handbag. So this is in my personal handbag that I carry everywhere with me, and this is in my kind of little carry-all bag. So I have the bullet journaling, but I do it slightly different in here, because when you do proper bullet journaling, you have everything in an index. And what happens with me is sometimes I have ideas for videos, or I have other ideas, and a Christmas list. So that list is going to stay in your particular cover for your bullet journaling for as long as that paper will last. And I sometimes get about 3 months out of mine, but I don't work. But you don't really want the Christmas list. Once Christmas is gone, or your shopping list, it's gone. You don't need it. So I devised a plan that I have my bullet journaling, and then as the paper I cut had a kind of a misshapen one, that became my scrap paper. And at the back I have everyday notes, things I've got to do that day, shopping lists, little notes to myself, so that once they're done they can be thrown away, and I haven't touched the original bullet journal, the index that wants to stay there, so it's got things for the next 6 or 7 months in it. It's got things that I want to keep that are going to take me a long time. The diaries that are in there, I sometimes have maybe 2 months ahead. I don't probably go more than 2 months, but I have 2 months ahead. It depends about the model shows. I have to put them in because I forget them. And so you can actually have that in, and you just move the paper about. So I really like that, so that if I had my daily tasks next to my monthly tasks, that would be a whole piece of paper that's wasted. Whereas my spare piece is that's going to go through faster, but I still got my initial bullet journaling, which is my planning, and I find that very, very much easier. Oh, hi Caroline, welcome to Bunny's Designs. So I have got this midori, which, as I say, goes on my travels, and I have my little zippy pocket. It's got very dusty because I keep biscuits in that, little things to eat if I'm hungry, and I have to take a pill, so there's pills in there as well. Anything that's not in the handbag goes in the big bag. So, as I say, I found this from Wilko's, and it was £1, I think, and it had a children's, I think it was a little boy's zoo, with everything was zoology. I think it was zoos, or was it jungle? I think it was jungle because it was all browns and greys, and there was a diary in there, and there was a pencil and a pad and some sketching things. But for £1, I really like this soft plastic. So it was, I think, a complete package. It had lots of things in it, and so I cut very carefully the bottom edge off. And as it happened, I did actually test it because I had my midori with me at that time. That was when I was a little bit better, so I could have a slightly bigger diary in there. And it fits perfectly. So sometimes you have to hunt around the children's section and you can get some quite nice plastic things. And that would probably cost quite a lot of money. And it was £1. So I love that at the back. I could maybe put a couple of pens in there. And then I have my bullet journaling, and this is actually made from a pad that I found actually that size, which was very lucky. And I took them to bits because they were thin and they were 10p, and I made, if I can pick the edge up, I put about 6 together, and because it's a midori held together actually with a rubber band, nothing special, I can take pages out or rearrange them if I want to. But you normally, with bullet journaling, you number the days because that's how it works. And then I have another one which is a more kind of, and this is the paper that I love. It's called Rhodia, and the paper is very, very, very good quality. It's really nice to write on. And you find the squares are as small as the tiny filofax ones, so that's quite good as well. And if you cut this particular sheet here, if I can show you really quickly, you will get, and this is the proper filofax one, I put one there and one there. Or is it the other one I buy? I can't remember. This one actually, no, this one is exactly half. So I take it to bits, and you've got to be careful with this because it has very, very industrial size staples. They are very hard to get out. They're about 3 or 4 millimeters thick. And I don't know why they put so, and it's a big pad of for about £2 or £3, but it's very, very lovely. And if you get this size, which is 5 by 5, if you fold it in half, it's exactly right to go in your Midori. And because this was quite nice, I used it as an edge as well. So, sorry, an edge, as a cover. I'm not bothered about the back having writing on it and a bit of sticky glue. So I just folded it in half, and that makes a really big chunky book. There is a slightly smaller size, and what you do is you actually put two like that and one like that, and that little bit is wasted, but I use it for something else, and that one's got the perforated edge on, and that's the one I use as my scrap. And then I have 2 pages out of every sheet that goes into my Midori, my little tiny pocket Midori. And then I punch holes in, but the problem I have at the moment is I can't punch holes in, so that's what it would normally look like. And I quite like the idea, but there is a video on how I actually make them, and I really like the idea that there's hardly any waste. And as much as I love these, I've actually got more space on mine, because this is a wasted space and that's wasted space, so I have a little tiny bit more on mine. And again, tight Yorkshire lass, I like my money's worth out of that. So it's a really, really good quality paper. You can find the small squares, WH Smith and Ryman and a lot of other ones do this small square. The paper isn't quite as good as this. This is really lovely to work on. So if you wanted to kind of have something that's a little bit nicer than a cheap foolscap A4, I think they're called refill pads, which are really big, you can get a lot more out of them. And again, what you can get is you can get this out of an A4 and just have a strip, and the strip I use as a shopping list, because that's A4. So this is the size of your the pad, and then you just cut the strip off and then fold it in half, and that's your Midori. So again, that's a really handy Midori size. You can round the corners off if you want. I used to do that. I can't use the punch now, so I don't. So then I start with the bullet journal on here. So I did actually put my Christmas list in this one because it was November, so I thought it would last November, December and going into January. And again, I don't think I've stuck these together. I think it's just gone round the actual Midori strap. So it's so simple. There's no sewing. You can sew them. I used to sew them, but you don't have to. If you've got poorly hands, it's very, very easy to make. I might actually do a video about how to make the Midori size, because that's extremely easy. Oh, I've been looking for that everywhere. So I could actually put that in here. That's the gentleman who has the photographs of the Abbey. I found a couple of cords and put some unusual things that I found kicking about. So I have 2. I have one for my monthly thing, and then if I've actually got a daily one, if I'm doing an actual task or I'm writing something, in fact this actually came with it. Because this was second hand. I can't ever afford anything full price. I bought this on eBay, and the lady left that in for me, so that was really nice of her. So that's my Midori. I have never changed the strap. I've not changed anything. I just added the bell. And I threaded this, it's on hooks, so I bent it out. It was from a buckle, and then because this was twisting round all the time, and getting knotty. So if you have something like this, it keeps it flat, and I quite like that idea. So that's my midori. So this will be, if I'm in bed or if I'm in the lounge, this will be my thought process. So anything that I've thought about during the day, or if I'm away anywhere, jot it down. I can pop it into here at bedtime thinking, oh, I thought that, or oh, I did this, I need to do that. Little things that pop into your head when you're just going to sleep. And it's a nice size to trundle around the house and keep in a little bag. But I don't have a desk diary, so because I need to be that little bit more organised now, I make 5 or 6 videos a day, I forget these lovely colour books. So I need to do 2 things. I need to have something that I can instantly see. Excuse me, I'd say some kind person gave me a cold this weekend. So I'm going to use this, as it was from the works, so it was only a couple of pounds. And I bought a lovely one for my daughter as well. And you can have it on your desk or have it propped up, and you can just have rough things scribbled on that you cannot forget, or that you have an idea of what you want to do. My daughter uses hers for her homework things or things that she needs to be done, and she finds that quite useful for homework. She used to use that for school. She does use it for college work as well, or if things need to be done. So that's quite a good little thing to have, just really rough. I mean, you tear that off after the week and it's gone. It's not precious. It was a couple of pounds. It's quite pretty, but it's not precious. So then you come to the other things. So I really like this, and I have actually found, and I did offer to give this to my daughter, but she doesn't use it. It's too big for her. Because I found in a charity shop for £1 in the box the credit card holder to go with this. And it can't have been very, very cheap because it's made by Swarovski and it's leather. So in the back there you would put the filofax. You'd put the filofax things. Now it looks a bit cream actually. The lighting's not brilliant. It's an ivory colour. It's a pretty ivory colour, and it has quite an unusual little catch. I would prefer not to have that catch because it gets damaged, but it's going to be sitting on the desk. So I've got some of these. It says these are Pro tabs, and this is what I pulled the other ones from. So there's more on that one because these can sit in here. And I don't like lots of sticky tapes, and I love all these gorgeous sticky notes that I have and sticky labels, but I never use them. So at the top I've just put that one on today, and that's the page index. My writing is terrible because I can hardly write now. So I have, this is where the page index starts for my bullet journaling. This is plain paper, and I've put that for notes. And in fact, I've actually put that in the wrong place because what I want, the reason this is a little bit thicker, and this is from another filofax, so you can swap things in and out, things you like, take them out, put them in your favourite one, because if you put them in your favourite one, you're more likely to use them. This is that little bit thicker, so I'm hoping it's going to give me kind of a bit of a harder surface when I want to write, because I'm left-handed. So this is the start of the bullet journal, and I do it extremely rough. Now I did actually, in the little one, I drew a line, so I thought I might be a bit neater and draw lines. So I have an index page, and probably 2. I've only left 1 actually. There's 1 because there's 30 odd there, and this is proper filofax paper, but you can use any A4, but I liked narrow lined. If you find narrow lined, it means they're not wide, they're narrower and they fit better in here. As I say, look at January, I didn't do anything. I just put the model railway things in. February the same. So that would be so much wasted. Then I penciled in about streaming, and I did this morning. So I've rewritten the March diary. Can't count. I don't went from 20 to 23. I haven't got a clue why. And I put in when I'm in Selby Abbey, because that's the times I can't stream. And normally on a Tuesday was my stream. So I've decided that I would be streaming later on a Tuesday and on a Friday. So that particular March day is just Selby. But then what I decided to write was I was going to have another diary, a streaming diary, just for streaming. Because if I've got model shows and I've got somebody at the dentist, I still need to hospital appointments, I still need to write things. And because I've just been for another x-ray for my thumb and my ankle, which I had 2 years ago, we're going to start the ball rolling again, and I've now been referred back to a specialist. Well, not back, it's a new referral. So we're going to start again for another 2 years. So by the time I'm 60, they might decide that I've got arthritis, bless them. So that's my March, and that's my March tasks. Things that I need to do or need to buy. Sometimes I put that in. So you just label the top corners, and as I did go through how I do my bullet journaling. Very simple, very easy, tight Yorkshire lass, not wasting paper. So I've just put in today that I want to do a stream diary for March, a video diary, video titles, and a video diary. So I've written that twice. I mean a stream diary. So what that means is, instead of me writing streaming at 1 while 3 or 6 while 7, and this is not set in stone, this is when I'm able to do it, because I'm not at the hospital or I'm not anywhere else. I didn't want that all over here. So this is just going to be for the family and for me personally. And then I've got another one here that I'm going to write these dates down here. Now some people write 1 to 31 for March, and then they'll put the letters. But if you put the letters second, when you start to write something, the letter kind of can blend in. So I've actually drawn 2 lines down. If you can see that. And then I swapped them round. So I've got the day of the week first, and then I've got the date of the month, and then I can start writing, and it's not going to interfere with anything. We know that's the Friday, and we know that's Selby Abbey. Now I'm doing a bit too much, so I'm going to try and get them to. The lady's gone away at the moment to have an operation, and when she's back and she can get anybody else to fill the space, then I may not do Fridays. It's a bit too much doing 2 days. I find I'm rather grumpy. And it ruins the rest of the day. So on Tuesdays I haven't the patience to stream because I'm in so much pain, so that's not working. But I have to do it for a couple of months until she comes back, because I said I would. So I know that the whole of March my stream will be interrupted on my Thursdays and Tuesdays. Oh, hi Dee Dee, welcome to Bunny's Designs. I'm just doing a first video about being organised and organising different filofaxes, but they've all got, and my midori, but they've all got, they're all done by bullet journaling, but it's very simple bullet journaling. There's no stickers. I've actually put 1 sticker here, and I've got my today, and some of these are from filofax and some aren't. I don't actually know. I think these were actually in this one. Then there's a kind of a monthly thing. So I've done the daily thing. This is my week. That's the month. Oops, that's the other month. This is the week. So if I want to put something in this week, this is where it would go. And I was thinking about putting in streaming and what video to do and that, but then I thought no, because this has got to be like the first one. This has got to be for family, personal. Because I do stream nearly every day, so I thought I need my own streaming and video section. Again, this is mixed streaming and Selby Abbey, and there's no room for anything else. And I do normally work in pencil, but I've put it in ink so you can see it. So this is my March task, and they say, sorry about the writing, very scruffy writing because I can't hold a pen very well. So I've put a yellow tag on here, so I know that if I'm writing something and think, oh, right, number 8 is going to be such and such, I can flick, instead of actually messing about, I can go to here and I know that that's my index. So I do have odd tabs and I use them in my colour books as well. So I've written down that 8 and 9 are going to be stream diaries for March. So I'm going to copy this, which is the days of the week in March, and although I think we're actually here now, we're 6, and the date of the month. And what I will be doing is writing in that on the Tuesday, I know I'm at Selby Abbey, so I will only be streaming, and I did this very roughly. So on here, I think Tuesdays I can only stream about 6:30 till 4:30 till 6:30 UK time, and I want to make Tuesdays my pastel pencils and pastels. Because again, I was neglecting certain things. But Thursdays, I want to make that my digital art. So that will be colouring in digital, drawing in digital, and artwork in digital. So I've done a very quick oil painting of Alfie, digital. So Thursdays will be digital art all day. And then I have Mondays, Wednesdays, where I can stream. So I was thought about doing the pastel colouring because I've got so many colour books that just once a week would not be enough. So Tuesdays will probably turn into pencils, but it will be art. It will be drawing Alfie. It will be doing sketchbook work, but it will be all pastels because they're the only medium I can use. But on a Monday and a Wednesday, I can stream with pastel pencils in different colour books, and that gives me 2 days a week just purely for colour books. But I also need a list of the colour books and what I'm doing in them and what I have done in them, because you forget until you look at your books, and you have so many books. Oh, hi Miss Aromatica, welcome to Bunny's Designs. So that's my rough plan for the week in streams and videos, but it needs to be kind of a bit more structured. The Tuesdays is fine. The Tuesdays will be probably pastel and pencil art. It won't be colouring because I've got Monday and Wednesday for that. Thursdays is just digital art, so that will be digital colouring and it will be digital art, because I'm going to have to build up and learn more art programs, because I can only be a digital artist. Unfortunately, this wasn't pseudo-gout. This is arthritis. This is not going to get better. So the least I use it, the better. So my digital art will eventually, probably by the end of the year, take over. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. So we've got to focus on what we can do. So we've got a little bit of pastel work, and all the watercolours and everything else really has to not be touched until I've seen the specialist. because it's wear and tear arthritis. It's because I've always done things, and I used to plumb. I was the DIYer, so it's my own fault. So I've got to restructure things so that I know that on a Monday I am going to be using my pastels and my pastel pencils for my colour books. But again, I've got quite a few colour books, so I've decided that I need a whole diary for March about what books I've neglected, what books people want to see. Because if somebody leaves a comment, oh, you haven't worked in this book for a long time, or what page was on this, so that's why I need that particular page. So one will be like a diary, as a general. I hope to be working in Imagimorphia on Monday mornings. On Monday mornings I stream for about 5 hours, I think 4 hours, so I need 4 pages, so they can be from the Colin Thompson one. And if I do a list, I can get to the end of the month and think, well, actually over here I didn't go in this book, so I can plan the following month towards the end of this month. And that's what bullet journaling is all about. It's all about keeping the monthly tasks forwarded to the following month if you don't get them done, so you never forget anything. And that's the beauty of it. As soon as it comes to the end of March and you've got lots of things here that you're not going to get done, you can make your April diary. You make your April diary and you think, well, actually there is no way on earth I am going to get that done. So you can scrub it out, put an arrow, and I don't actually do that, but I may start doing that. And the arrow means that you've forwarded it somewhere else, and then you can put it in your April. So the April, it's not forgotten. It's going to get done, but it might not have to get done in time. And I don't work, so I'm not under any kind of stress. But my daughter loves bullet journaling because she puts, well, this essay is due in 2 weeks after that essay, and that's taking me a lot longer, so I'm going to actually put that forward. Excuse me. So I'm not stressing about it. It's gone, but it's not forgotten. And I absolutely love bullet journaling. I wish I had it when I was at school, and I wish I'd had it when I was at college, and I wish I'd had it when I worked, because it is wonderful. I have diaries with 3 pages with lots of things written in them per year. That's it. And so it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. So and especially if you're working and you've got children, and I loved it. I did actually find it while I was at uni, and I've been using it a few years, and it's brilliant. It's very, very simple, and I love the fact that you don't waste paper. You don't waste, well, you waste very little. Now, sometimes I have a weekly plan. People actually break it down. So on Monday, they're going to do, I've got to be at such and such. And I may actually do that as a video. I might actually do that, how you would plan your week when you've planned your month. I may actually do that because you write down things, and sometimes you'll get the whole week on 1 page, and sometimes you'll get a day on 3 pages. It depends what your day is about. Some people use it as a diary as well, so you can actually get that in there. Now I don't, because as I say, what I love to do is this will stay in here for a good few months. I will have my YouTube videos, my ideas in here till they're finished. A weekly diary, once past the week, it's rubbish, it's gone. So I tend to have at this side, which is why I've put at the top of here, this is my index for this way. This way I have scrap paper. So if I have to buy something at the shops, I normally cut things in half, and I do it in pencil, and I cut it in half, and I'll have a shopping list at the bottom. Oh, we need some more milk, we're running out of toilet rolls, I need a hairspray. At the top I'll read, oh, don't forget Tuesday I've got to do such and such. And then at the end of the week or the end of the day, I can pull that out, and it's gone. And the other thing is, it doesn't bung up the space in your filofax, because sometimes your filofax is like this, and half of it's kind of, well, you don't need it anymore, but what do you do with it? Because on the back of it there's something that you want. So I found this is my easiest way. I have all the important things that I am going to be using that I want to keep in there, and then I've got things that I don't want that I can throw away, and I do the same with this little one here. This little one here will have my bullet journaling, what I'm going to be doing if I'm sitting in the car waiting for somebody, because I don't often go in the shops, I just sit in the car. Then I can say, oh right, next week I want to do, I've got that book, I've forgotten about that book. It has a gorgeous picture into colour. I'll do that on Wednesday, or I need to colour that book. I don't need to forget that book. But on this side, I've got a shopping list of what I need to do, and I can tear that out and give it to hubby and say, there's a shopping list, go get it. I haven't touched this really neat-ish diary that is going to continue for the next few weeks. Whereas if you'd written today's diary, and then on the back, so you've got all this information of what I want to do in my videos for the next month, and I write my shopping list on the back, I have to write the shopping list out again. So it's just my simple way of having my scrap on one side for instant things that are not going to kind of, they're daily things, a daily to-do list. You could even have a weekly to-do list. So you can have a weekly to-do list, and then you can think, right, on a Monday I've got to do such and such, Tuesday such and such, and then on the bottom think, oh well, I actually must buy that paint because I want to paint that door. And you can have all this, but once that task is done, you can get rid of it. And there is another section here as well that there's you can do the diaries and the daily diaries and the weekly diaries and the monthly diaries, but you can also do tasks and specific goals. So if one of them's decorating the kitchen, you can have you can have 4 pages about the kitchen, and they're in here, because that's going to be a long project and you've got to buy things for it. But you don't want the shopping list here, you want it at the front where you can throw it away. Did that make sense? Does that make sense? And what it makes you do is it makes you be a little bit more structured. Because if you suddenly write a shopping list or a to-do list and it's overwhelming, you think, oh my god, I'm never going to get that done in a week. But if you've got it on your monthly task, and this is another good thing as well, it takes the stress out of getting organised, sorting things out, and putting us a little bit of a structure. You are structured, but there's no stress. Because I cannot do stress. If I have a diary and I write down on that day I've got to do that, I'm stressed. So this particular way I find brilliant, because as I say, on the march I will have things that I need to do, things that need doing. But there are some things that March I know I'm not going to get done. So I have to then put them onto your next month, but they're not forgotten. It's not that you're never going to do them. If you have so many things, the gentleman that invented this, and I've forgotten his name, and I have to put that in the video. He actually has. He only leaves a small amount of space, so you only have to do 5 or 6 things, because obviously sometimes it's impossible to do more than that. So if you have lots of things to do, you can put them here, or you could actually, like I've got a thing here that says, and you see I didn't even use it, but I didn't put any videos down, and that's why I forgot books and things. So I have got here a video diary. So there are so many colour pages I have to do. So many colour pages in so many colour books. So I'm just going to write the titles of the books, and underneath I'm going to write the pages that I've coloured and the pages that I would like to colour, and probably have a page for each one. So I will get my Kirby Roseanne, and I will have Imagimorphia. So as an example, in fact I can actually do that. How long have I got left for this one? I'll finish this video, and the next one will be how I'm going to organise my colour books and my colour pages, because I don't think I'm the only one that has so many colour books and so many colour pages, and you forget them. And so this, you could say, right, well, on this weekend I'm going away, I'm going to take that book because I've got all these pages in that book, and that particular book I like to use watercolours, or I like to use pencils. And so you can organise yourself a little bit, so you're not going to say I've got to do all these pages, but you've just got that little bit of structure. And some people do not do, I will do that at 1 o'clock, I will do that at 2 o'clock, I will do that at 3 o'clock, but they might say at some point at this weekend I would like to do this task, and you're more likely to get it done because you're not under pressure. Putting pressure on yourself to do things is a no-no, whether you're working or whether you're not, because it's more pressure than actually doing the task, and a lot of people do not work well. And then of course if you're under pressure, you're not going to enjoy colouring your book, and that's the whole idea. So I thought I would go through my books, and I would, because there are some pages that I probably won't do. There's a couple of pages in the Harry Potter, they're full of spiders, and I think, do I really want to colour that page? I'm frightened of spiders. And it's the first time I've thought that, and I've bought about 20 books maybe. And again, I have no idea how many books I've got. So if I'm looking through thinking I would like to buy that colour book, and I look through and think, oh, I think I've got 30 books, do I need another one? It's an indication of how many colour books you've got and what colour books. There will be at some point you will see a book and think, I'd like to buy that, and you've already got it. So it's another reason to do things. So that was how I'm going to organise. So in my desk diary, that's not going to go particularly far, it'll probably go in the lounge. If I'm sitting watching television, I can have a bit of a route through a book and write things down. It'll be in pencil. So I've got my mechanical pencil. And again, if I'm doing a bit of a sketch of the kitchen, how I want to move furniture around, which I do often, although I have to stop doing that now. I've rephrased that. How I tell my family to rearrange the furniture. I draw a plan and say, there you go, that's where I want everything. So, and my studio's being moved about as we speak. So that's going to be my desk diary. That's going to have a lot of information in it and a lot of detail. This is going to be my quick look at, oh right, on Tuesday I said I was going to do such and such. I need to do such and such. That's going to be my daily, just a quick look, and then the girls and everybody can look at my desk and go, oh, Mother can't do that because she's streaming or she's doing such and such. So this is quite a good little instant look. I've got my Midori with the bullet journal, the same system. So if I'm sitting in the car for 3 hours waiting for somebody, or I'm on a train, I'm in a wheelchair now, so I can actually have a little bit of a heavier bag and a book. I can go into detail of, oh, that video, I'd like to make a video about that book. Or I haven't touched the Harry Potter book for a long time. I really need to make sure that every week I touch one particular book. I can write it where I am, and then when I get home I can transfer it into here, and then maybe put a time or a particular day. In here is just the idea that this needs to be done. In here, a bit more structured, so that I can put it into weeks and I can put it into days if I really want to be that structured. But again, there's not much, I don't put a lot of pressure on myself. And then I have, of course, in my handbag, which goes everywhere with me, I have my little filofax for just general ideas, a little bit of a diary, hospital appointments, if they ask me to stay at the Abbey a little bit later, if hubby's working, or if I need to drive. It's not very often I need to drive. I think I drove twice last year and once this year. Sorry, I didn't drive at all last year. It was the year before. I think I drove once. And I've driven once this year as well. But again, hubby was away, but he's never going away again, so I don't need to drive. So that's my instant shopping list, everyday list there, and it's soft. It's my wallet. It's always with me. So if I have an idea, I can scribble it. Again, I will have my rough shopping list that I can tear out and give them, and I've got my diary. It won't be there won't be a lot of information about it unless I get an idea. I won't probably put it into this little one here because it will be with me. It's not very often I sit and think about things, so it goes in here more because I've got this little bag that I take with me, again with pills and food and water and my midori, which, as I say, I absolutely love my midori, and it's actually not so bad to hold with bad hands. You can grip it. It's a nice size. This one is a bit more difficult. Oh, gee whiz, it is. I cannot hold this with one hand, whereas this one's quite nice. And when you open it up, it's an A5. So if you open a midori out completely flat and do bullet journaling, and some people do bullet journaling long ways, you don't have to do it that way. You can open your page, and you can work that way. It's entirely up to you. But that is A5 size, as near as, damn it, maybe a bit bigger. So you're not losing space because you've got it in two sections. But bullet journaling is very simple, and it's mainly lists, and lists are very good if you've organised the lists properly. Lists are probably very good because they're just kind of important things to remind you. And then on other pages, like in here, you can go to more detail and put that I'd like to do the animorphia, I'd like to do one a week, and I'd like to finish a certain page. And I'm going to give myself 5 or 6 weeks on one particular page. An hour every day on the animorphia page. If it was this one, it would be, so on a Tuesday we would have an hour on this, and then the following week there'll be another hour. So people can, once the videos are all up, people can actually just kind of flick on every particular one to get to do with the owl page, part 1, part 2, part 3. But you wouldn't maybe want to watch 6 hours of somebody doing like the Harry Potter page. The Hagrid page was 9 hours, 9 or 10 hours. If every video followed on with that, it would get very boring. So that's another reason I want to change things out, is to say, right, so on a particular day, I will be working in pastels. So people that don't like pastels don't have to tune in. They can think, actually, I could go do something because that's not my thing. Or if it's digital art, they might say, oh, that's not my thing. I don't want to do digital art, so on Tuesdays I'm not going to bother. And that's really what I think I need to do with my little art show, is then I might do a bit more about disabled and easier things for people to use. So if you're able-bodied and you want to kind of chuck bricks at the wall to be art, then that's not going to be for you. I'm also going to go back to Slimming World and do maybe a weight blog, because I think it's always easier to lose weight if you have an incentive and if you have kind of a diet buddy kind of thing. So that's another thing that might do. Now, if you're stick thin, you're not going to want to watch that. So that was the idea for me, to be a little bit more structured and just have an idea of what I do, because normally I just I have a book that I think, oh, I haven't worked in that for a while. I turn the camera on and I go. And I think I may need to have a bit of more structure, and so people can think, well, actually that's not my thing, so I don't want to watch on a Tuesday, I'll watch on a Thursday. That kind of thing. because it's so wonderful that I have over 700 subscribers, and hi to those YouTubers. And my shows are very quiet. They are very, oh hi Kangaroo Babe, they're very quiet on my shows. But actually I think that's quite nice, because I think if they're really busy, as much as it's wonderful to be in them, I don't have the brains to be in charge of a busy show. I really don't think the fibromyalgia and the fibro fog, and things that I would love to do with art is to get the acrylics out and get the oils out and stand outside and paint and go to the Abbey and sit in freezing cold weather and run up and down the Abbey drawing. I cannot do these things. So instead of getting frustrated and upset about what I can't do, I have to really structure myself. And I think this will do that. It will give me enough to do to keep the brain occupied, that I focus on things I can do, and I kind of not even worry about things that I can't do anymore. So I hope that made sense. So I will be using a bit of again, you can tear this off and it's gone. You could use a full scap file paper, file pads, refill file pads, and just draw Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday in different coloured pens if you want to. You can pretty it up. I think you can find a lot of these for a couple of pounds, and I actually think that's quite nice because it's lovely, it's pretty, but it's not precious. And all the lovely stickers and things I've got hundreds and hundreds and thousands of stickers. I don't think I've used one. So it's obviously not my thing. I love them, but it's not my thing. And bullet journaling can be as fancy or as simple or as plain as you need it. So these are my little planners to get me more organised in 2017. So thanks for watching.